did it in the performance. So, Wangku Damane. Okay. Yeah. Wangku Damane Alaska, maybe Tigara Budayukan Ridun. Wangku Damane Alaska, maybe Tigara Budayukan Ridun. Ayanga, yeanga, yeanga, winga yupiugo.
Next up, our guest performer is Byron Nikolai. His description here says, growing up in a village of only 800 people, Brian felt small with more than 663,000 square miles of Alaska surrounding him. In his mind, his future was predetermined. His destiny was to become like the people of Tuxuk Bay. However, his passion
for music drove him to pursue his dreams and go far beyond what was expected of him.
Today, he goes wherever his music takes him, with one goal in mind, to share his culture with the rest of the world and continue the legacy of his ancestors. Byron began creating music in 5th grade when his cousin asked him to join Tuxuk Bay traditional singing group as a drummer. His music has became an inspiration for young teens across Alaska seeking to embrace their culture. His music is showcased in his I Sing, You Dance Facebook page, named after one of his most popular songs. Regardless of where you came from and your age, all you have to do is believe in yourself. If people doubt you, prove them wrong and show them who you are. You can do whatever you set your mind to. And that's for Byron Nicholai.
Not gonna look, stand. Wrong one. Oh, wait, one of the microphones. Take one of these.
Your power right here, man.
I'm going to put you guys to one mic. Check.
Byron actually has an album out on iTunes, and it's I Am Yupik, and subtitled I Sing You Dance.
I brought some CDs with me for after the performance. I could sell some. They're in my bag right now, but you have to wait till after the performance.
Awesome.
So the first time I started Eskimo dancing was when I was about 4 or 5 years old. It was about 2000, and in Stebbins we have a ceremony where you are welcome to dance on the mat, and I had a big ceremony where I had my first dance, which is a song that was composed by an elder or two, and it had different verses in it. And it talks about, since I was 5 years old, it talks about me, Panichuak, the baby, daughter swinging on her swing, dancing and playing, and swinging and singing and dancing and playing. And that's how it goes. And I performed that in front of our cousin village, Kotlik. And I just remember my uppa smiling really hard when I was up there dancing as a little 5-year-old, no teeth, and dancing. It was probably the most exciting thing in my life, and I loved dancing ever since then.
Kuinga yuhtun ukisauga kasadun siu Byron Nikolai. Lunakaw yak miumunga anaka Dora Nikolai augo. Siu David Nikolai. Anamashu angayuk Teddy Moses and Teresa Moses augo lunakaw yak miumulutik. Atamashu angayuk James and Ina Nikolai. Atmashu yak miumulutik. Kuinga Yorutnik adut kata ramchi vilis huknamtnik ilaita dogam yorut adut shonka asat Yupik city. Hi, my name is Byron Nikolai. I'm from Tuksuk Bay, Alaska. My mom's name is Dora Nikolai, and my dad's name is David Nikolai. And my mom's parents are Teddy Moses and Teresa Moses, and my dad's parents are James and Ina Nikolai. Growing up, I was taught that when you introduce yourselves, you introduce yourself by your Yupik name, and then your parents' names, and then your parents' parents' names. And today, I will be singing some songs for you guys, some songs that I composed myself, and some songs that other people have composed, but I am borrowing them. As I get this set up here, I'm gonna be telling you guys a little bit about myself. I just graduated high school, class of 2016. That's now in high school. And I have plans to study elementary ed at UAA. And minoring in Alaska Native Studies in hopes of becoming a Yupik teacher back in Tuksuk Bay. Right after I graduated, the day after I graduated, I started my summer tour. It's been a very long summer, but a very memorable one, a summer that I'll never forget. The first place I went to was to Mountain Village. And then instead of going back home, I went straight to Kotlik. Then after I went home, I went to Tatitlik, down in the Kodiak area. After that, I went down to Canada, my first out-of-state performance, but it was with Bamyo. And then instead of going home, I went straight to Oregon, then to Arizona, then I went back home. And then after I get back home, 2 days later, I went to Napaimi. I was there teaching some youth around that area, some songs and some dances. And after that, I went down to Fairbanks for WEO. After I went back home for a couple of days, and then I came here. This is my last trip for the summer, and I'm gonna start school in a couple of weeks. Okay. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty. I forgot the most important part of my loop station, the plug. So we're looking for one. The first song that I'm going to be singing is the blessing song. I always open up with the blessing song. Talk about Pumpkin. During AFN last year, I was told by one of the drummers, the traditional drummers at Tuksuk Bay, I believe that the song is one of the most sacred and respected songs in our area, the Bethel area. And long time ago, when our ancestors, before they used to go out seal hunting or out hunting, they would dagvak their hunting gear in their kayak, and they would pray to Samya that their catch wouldn't be scared. And so this is Dagvak Nampin, the blessing song.
Which mic you gonna use? That one's cut out, so.
Dagvak Nampin.
Dagvak Nampin yang khai ta vỡ đâu gầm can yêu gai yang khai chú gạo đâu gầm can pi can đi gan ya chú ta nhà ha ye hun na
There you have it, the blessing song. This next song, I believe is my most popular song. It's I Am Yupik. I made this when I was 16 years old. I was just laying in my bed and I was thinking about how Alaska's a very diverse state. You know, there's a whole bunch of different cultures. And so after I was thinking about that, maybe I could make a song about that, but tell them who I am. Quinga Yupiugo. Mani Alaska mi Tijiria Raput Ayokinridu. Here in Alaska, the cultures are very different. Quinga Yupiugo. I Am Yupik.
Wankutamani Alaska mi Tijiria Purayokinridu. Wankutamani Alaska mi Tijiria Purayokinridu. Ayahanga yeanga yeanga quenga yupiugo Wankutamani Alaska mi Tijiria Purayokinridu. Ayahanga
Um, Growing up, my mom, she would always cook me or tell me these things that I should listen to, like be good in school or just some other things that I wouldn't be able to understand because I was very young, and sometimes I would think that she doesn't know what she's talking about. So, but as I got older, I realized that the things that she said will help me on the future. And so, for those kids around here, listen to your parents. They know what they're talking about. Anan atanshu nitak shukuk nasan rilamak. Listen to your parents because they know.
Anan atanshu nitak shukuk nasan rilamak. Eyacha Anan atanshu Shukek nasun relamak eyacha ken kamekot kanrot arakat ang lirekum ta aweraus kuta pudam sich ngait na tut yeche
Most of these songs that I'm singing, they have dance motions to them. That's why I bring this loop station around. Usually if I sang the song and recorded it, it would loop it and it would play it again so I'd be able to dance it. But since I don't have the plug for that, I'm not gonna be dancing. Okay, I think you guys are gonna like this one. It's very funny, I swear it's very funny. But Valentine's Day is coming around next year, and so a couple years ago, it was just me and this drum right here. I had no Valentine, I swear, no Valentine. It was just me and the drum. So, on Facebook and on Instagram, you see posts about like people posting their Valentine. I didn't have one, so I decided to make a song, but it's a comedy song. It's called the Cousin Song. And when I'm singing this song, don't believe the lyrics, they're not true. I swear they're not true. Here goes the Cousin Song.
I remember when we first dated. Told my mom about you, she said we're related. But that wouldn't stop me from loving you. My sister smacked me and she said I'm a fool. We're second cousins and we kissed. I know that looks bad. My dad saw us that night. He looked real mad. He said that dating your cousin is not the right way. I asked, what about you and Mom? Then he just walked away. Yeah, 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 nah, yeah, 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 nah. You know, there's this one time I was doing a show down in Juneau, and I brought my mom along with me. I think it's the first time that she's watched me perform, like, in another place. And so, I was singing the cousin song, and she was just right there. She wasn't laughing or anything. And so, I think I embarrassed her. She was just sitting there looking at me with a straight face, you know. Like, you shouldn't have done that. But I thought that was very funny. Like I said, the lyrics ain't true. It's just a song that I made up. This song, I call this the happy song. It really means Nunanik Siya Gluni. Because it's so happy here, that's what it really means, but I call it the happy song. Nunanik Siya Gluni, Mani Shapu Twankura, Biolraku Twankura, Anglaniku Twankura. It's beautiful out here, and we're walking, and we're having a good time, so this is the happy song. I was down in Bethel for the Jalre Jarach conference, and I was singing this song, and the elders called it the rock and roll song. I don't know why. The rock and roll song. Nunanek seagone mani saput wangkuta biarekut wangkuta angranneukut wangkuta biani nanem tikskaktakakta ngoksogelrekut haruksoni nanem ti aya 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 This next song, it means a lot to me. It really does. It's my grandma's song. So before I moved back to Tuksuk, my mom told us that we used to live down in Atmashok, where my dad lives. My mom told us that my grandma was feeling very sick, and so she wanted to go back home because she knew that she was gonna pass away. And so we got there, stayed a couple of days, and when it was time, all her grandchildren and her children and her nieces and her nephews, we all said goodbye. After everyone said goodbye to my grandma, she had her last words. You bingachi anang naksapunaji umyor niurutai knachtuji. Jesus sa kijuk bingatni witau gatrura. When someone does something hurtful to you, don't retaliate. It'll only make things worse. Remember when Jesus was crucified that he didn't retaliate. This is the grandma. This is my grandma's last words. Ay 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 yo. Yo, naqsaqunache yognu rutait nechtoche ay Jesus aki chukpingat ni wita urashkure naqsaqunache yognu rutait nechtoche Jesus aki chukpingat ni wita urashkure This next song, I usually don't do it, but I mean, like, what I'm about to do, it's my Yupik rap. And so, there's this one night where I was listening to music, and it came to an instrumental part where I felt like I could, rap in Yupik. I thought it wasn't gonna go well, but when I heard it in my mind, I was like, oh, that actually sounded pretty good. Let me write it down. And so after I did that, I took the words off of that song and took the instrumental and used it and made my rap over it. And so this is my Yupik rap. After the rap, I'll be translating it. I'm not a rapper, but I rap. Yeah. Toshu, Queen Yubuga, the ring lachta, dot Ranraksa, Dam Nijugnika, Liti Kudun, Salud, Rakiting I do. Queen and Dogum Jaya Sikasika, Pankuda, money down a Yorojikoka, Miguel Muda Dula Radasani, Nunani, Bijat, Nigani, Yomani Bawani. Yeah. Going good so far, let's go. Boy. Yeah. Next verse coming up, King and Jaya Yuito Yugatunga, Ayaglo Yapanun Bishkunga, Nuna Kochtut, Mugalula Lashu, Ayaos Nam Kidaki Dosu, a 60 good. They shouldn't begin, Majunga Mafatan, Kanwaskinga, Kin Kayak, Kin Kulugi, just got Kini Takshuki, York Nagan, down up and Kaum, York Nagan, Nespajilkan, Doshu. And what you did, York Shugi, being a Tukuchi, Jikuchi, Exnrita, doesn't read Daka, Pina Yupigo, down a Yabu, Taka, Daksu, Naito, Dumajika, Binatula, BBJika, Lijika, Dam Vaka, doesn't read Dakianama, Migungu, Shumni, Adopagushuma, Kayaga, Rachuku, Lura, Adu, Tashugu, Yorutis from that, as you do your talking good, yeah. Last verse coming up. Yeah. I'm not a rapper. Clearly. Don't you. Nudan, ang lanik sa nakatugot. Ya, that's a good tune, kaput. You got you, that's a Yupik. Isakak tu yaku nagara mugumigalungu tangvaktu Liti ayoko chiklu dingadam bilaktu Tumikit kamang migalungu tauku Tikchiki yakamag manis tauku Kuyana Yeah. Okay, so that was my epic rap. Thank you. I'm not gonna translate all of it because that'll probably take like half an hour. I'm serious. One word could mean a whole sentence. Like, that word, it means, can I make you a very small plane? So I'm not gonna translate all of it. But what it says, Adam nichugnit ka, lichi kudin, ksaludin, kakichingaitudin. Listen, if you try, you could learn, but if you don't try and you don't do anything, you're not gonna accomplish anything. And one of them is kinkayak, kinkulugi, just kakatkin ni taksuki, umyoknagan, dauna kanska, umyoknagan, spijunakgan. Before my grandmother passed away, she said, love others as you love yourself. And when an elder or someone older than you tells you to do something, you should listen. And the other part is, wait. Okay. We're not always gonna have fun. You guys know that, right? We're not always gonna have fun. Sometimes having fun could mean getting into trouble. And because these kids look up to us, we gotta teach them about respect. So that's what my Yupik rap is. It's more of a message than a song. It's a message in a song. So that was my Yupik rap. I don't know, I was just listening, I heard this song last week, and I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna sing it, just because I wanted to. It's a very catchy tune. I like the tune, so I was like, I'm just gonna sing it for fun. I believe this song comes from Chivak, but I don't know the whole word, all of the lyrics to the song, so I'm just gonna make up my own. I came here, actually before I left Tucson the night before, I went riding with my sister, my older sister. And so, you know, whenever I'm riding around, I like to sing, just sing to myself. And even if I'm riding alone, I'm always singing. And so I changed up the words. I was writing and my sister was behind me and I was singing. That means, your socks is so stinky, could you go please wash it? And then in that song I said, Daring yugna kuchi nula sagan reti khwaya yikhia. I said, if you could understand, you're probably laughing right now. So, I don't know. I think the reason why it's easy for me to make up songs right on the spot is because I really have been doing it for most of my life. I would call up my cousin when I used to stay down in Atmoshok, and I call him just to sing to him. And when I'm walking around, I make up a tune in my head and use that and just say some words like these kids right here are probably listening. So whenever I'm walking, I would just make up songs, and then my experience would go up, and that's probably why it's easy for me to make songs. But right now, I'm gonna make up a song on the spot. I'll tell you guys the lyrics after. In that song I said, Gechbak ayagali huinga. During this whole summer I've been traveling, nunanu nashanu naduchpagechtulo, going to other places to sing my songs. I could do this all night, but I'd rather not. And I believe my time is up, so I'm going to be singing the goodbye song that my grandfather made, Piugalonga. Piugalonga ya ya Piugalonga ya I just want to thank you all so much for being here and for supporting me. And I just want to thank you all. This has been a very long summer for me. I've probably been home for about 2 weeks, the whole summer, and I'm just doing what I love. And I'm just trying to send a message out there that no matter who you are and where you come from, you could do anything. I'm from a small village of 700 people, and here I am traveling kind of around the world, drumming, showing my culture. And so that really shows that anything is possible. It's just your mindset. You have to believe that you can do it in order to do it. Oyana Jaknek, thank you all for having me. Thank you all for having me here. And if you want to buy some CDs, I'll be waiting right there. They're $15 a piece. Oyana.